Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and as you saw from our introduction, we're going to find out more about the pigs. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, stand by, because in a couple of minutes you will learn everything you want to know. And then you will head over to the town common and find out in real life what we're talking about. So, anyway, before we get into the topic of pigs and piggery, I don't even know if that's a word, I would like to thank you for tuning in this evening. If you have a suggestion for a future topic, you are always welcome to email me at talk@bcattv.org. I love to get fan mail. And if you just happen to forget our wonderful guest's email, whom you'll find out momentarily, you could always email it to me and I'll forward it to her. I would like to thank my crew for this evening. Chris Flaherty is one of the staff members here. He makes sure that all of us volunteers know exactly what we're doing and kind of behave ourselves. And I would like to thank the crew for this evening who have given up their Wednesday night. Christina Nikitas, and I'm forgetting my own children's names, Evan McNamee, I hear him laughing in the back, Evan McNamee and Gwyneth McNamee. And now that they're on summer vacation, they're hanging out at BCAT just a little bit more. So thank you, all of you, for coming and hanging out at BCAT and helping us with the show. Now, my wonderful guest is the current chair of the Sculpture Park Committee, Barbara LaRue.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Love driving by the Sculpture Park and always seeing what's new and seeing everything that's just going on.
Great, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
How old's Sculpture Park now?
We had our first installation in 2024.
Wait, it is 2024.
Excuse me, I'm very sorry. We had our first installation in 2020.
Oh, that's right, I remember because everybody
it was during COVID. We had a second installation in 22, and then this summer, 24, we'll have our third installation.
And we will talk about that momentarily.
Okay.
But before we really get into the topic of the Sculpture Park, I want to get to know you a little better.
Okay.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you came to the Burlington area, and then how did you eventually get involved in the Sculpture Park and now chairperson?
Sure. Well, it's a very simple story how I ended up here. I was born here. I was born in
But you had the
Burlington,
opportunity
grew
to
up
move.
here. Yes, I moved away for a little while, and then when my husband and I got married, we were looking for a house. We bought here in Burlington, and I've been here ever since.
Love it.
Yes, so then I served on town meeting and on the capital budget committee for a few years, and then ran for planning board. And that is how I ended up getting involved with the Sculpture Park Committee, because the Sculpture Park actually was born out of the master plan process. Every 20 years, I think, the town is required to come up with a new master plan. So a whole committee was formed, and they look at all different aspects of life in Burlington. And one of the things that was discussed through that process was that there was kind of a lack of art and of cultural products or services in Burlington, and that there was a desire for more things like that. And one of the people on the committee, John Sachs, had the idea for a sculpture park. He was the founder of the park. It was his idea, and it took a few years to get that running. And then we decided, in order to really get it moving, we needed to make it an official committee. So it was made an official committee of the planning board. I was serving on the planning board, and I still am, and that's how I got involved with the Sculpture Park.
So it actually is associated with the town.
Yes, it is.
Not like its own separate.
No, it is a a subcommittee of the planning board. It is a town committee. Yes. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yes.
So yes, I do remember John coming on the show and saying, Burlington needs to be known more as just the town with the mall.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
Yeah.
That was the goal. We're still working on it.
We're still working on that. But, you know, the postcard concept was kind of fun, too.
Yes.
So, excellent. So, tell me more about you just mentioned the Sculpture Park Committee being a subcommittee of the planning board.
Yes.
So, who is actually on the Sculpture Park Committee? Is it all like all planning board members?
No,
Or okay.
no. It's a great committee. I've really enjoyed working on this committee because everyone on it is very dedicated and hardworking, and it spans a lot of different groups. So we have one member who's from planning board. That's me. One member from select board, one from recreation, one from the schools, one from the library, a business community member, and a town meeting member.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's a committee of 7.
Okay.
And then we formed a partnership with New England Sculpture Association, and they sort of serve as advisors.
Okay.
And
Where are they based? Rhode Island?
I don't know. They're in Massachusetts.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what town. We have a member of NISA serve on our committee. They're non-voting members, but they provide expert guidance and advice.
Okay, because, you know, everybody in Burlington is just such experts on sculptures. How often does that committee change? Like, when somebody's appointed to the committee, is it for like a 2-year term, a 3-year term, whenever you feel like leaving term?
Technically, they're reappointed every year. We haven't had a whole lot of turnover.
Okay.
The recreation rep has changed once. The select board rep has changed once.
Okay.
I think that's it. And I think it's because everyone really enjoys working on the committee, and it's a very collaborative group, and people enjoy it.
Love it.
Yeah.
So do we want to talk about the pigs first, or do we want to talk about the new sculptures that are coming?
Oh, well, that's up to you. It's your show.
I hate making decisions. Okay, let's talk about the pigs, because we have
Okay.
some little squeaky pigs here.
We do. We have the tiny pigs.
So tell me about those. Those are
Okay.
obviously not, you know,
Yes.
Sculpture Park
They are not.
material.
The tiny pigs really were a marketing tool for us to tell people about and get people excited about the Pigs on Parade event.
Okay.
That had its kickoff on Saturday. We wanted to make sure that everybody knew about it so they would come and see the pigs on Saturday. So for the 10 days or so before the big event, I ran around town hiding tiny pigs in all the playgrounds.
It's like stealth.
For children
Anybody
to
looking?
find, and then bring on Saturday to the Common and show their tiny pigs.
Okay, so Pigs on Parade, just
Yes.
in general. I know that there was a fundraising component to it, but
Yes.
was it just fundraising, or was it a publicity thing, or will the pigs be permanent sculptures as part of the sculpture? Tell
I'd
me
be
more.
happy to answer those questions. We really had a few different goals with the Pigs on Parade project. Part of it was indeed fundraising. We wanted to raise money to fund the next installation of sculptures at the park. In the past, most of our funding has come from donations from businesses and from residents. There was one time we did get some money from the town through town meeting, but we really didn't want to have to go back to the town asking for more money. So we came up with this idea. We got the idea from the cow parade on Boston Common last summer.
Okay, we did, I want to say Burlington, like 17, 20 years ago, we
Yes.
did calves.
I have heard that, and I didn't remember seeing them myself. I don't remember what entity it was that
Okay.
did the calves.
I
I've
just
heard
remember
about
BCAT
them.
did, what is it? Yeah, BCAF instead of BCAT, and we painted like film strips,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
each frame on the
And
film
where
strip
did your
was like,
calf go?
I don't
You should
remember.
find him. He's probably in a closet somewhere.
I think maybe it wasn't 18 years ago. It may have been like when my kids were little, because I swear I saw BCAF in the BCC preschool.
Oh, maybe that's where he is.
So, but I haven't been in preschool in a while because
yeah.
my kids are now in middle school and high school. So,
Yes. So I don't know who ran
Okay.
the calf program, but it's similar. They were
did
probably
they do cows like this past year?
in Boston.
Boston?
They did Cow Parade last year on Boston Common as a fundraiser for Dana-Farber. And that's where we got the idea. And we decided, because Burlington doesn't really have a big, strong history with cows, in Burlington's history, its major agricultural industry was pig farming.
I think I remember that.
Yes, so from 1799, when Burlington was incorporated, all the way through the 1950s, there was a very thriving pig farming business here in Burlington.
Who knew?
And There were pig farms on a lot of the streets that we know today, on Center Street, on Cambridge Street, on Middlesex Turnpike, on Ellen Street, and a number of others. I've been told there was a pig farm where the Burlington High School is today. So we thought that was kind of a cool way to honor Burlington's past.
And plus, everybody does cows. You need to do something different.
We need to do something different. So part of it was a fundraiser. In addition to that, we wanted to just sort of bring some fun and excitement to the Common, that we thought it would be a great way for people to learn about some of the businesses that were sponsoring the pigs, because we have a really strong business community here in Burlington, and everyone knows that they pay a large amount of our taxes, but not everyone knows who those businesses are and how they support our community. So this was a great way for us to raise money, a great way for these companies to show their support for Burlington, and I think that worked out very well. In addition to that, the other thing we were hoping to accomplish is we were trying to sort of test out the idea of putting sculptures on the Common, because when the police station construction project begins, the sculptures that are currently in the park are going to have to move somewhere else, at least temporarily. And one of the places that's being considered is the outskirts of the Common.
Oh, okay.
So this was kind of a way to test out how that would work without making a real commitment to it, because they're only going to be there for the summer. We can see how it works. We can see if it causes any problems for maintenance or for anything else, and it gives us a chance to test the concept out before we make a commitment to it.
So wait, how long are they going to be there for?
They will be here through the entire summer. They will leave at the end of August.
August, okay. Because I was, you know, as you were saying that, I'm thinking, Celebrate Burlington will be the perfect opportunity to see how that interaction is.
Exactly.
So with the pig installation, did they need like special treatment, special equipment, kind of like the sculptures have the big cement platforms? Did the pigs also need those?
The pigs have platforms, but they aren't cement. Actually, John Sachs built all the platforms himself. There are 13 platforms. Yes, they are wood. He painted them and polyurethaned them, and then we installed the platforms into the grass, and then the pigs are bolted into the platforms.
Got it.
Yes.
And John also painted one of the pigs, the mini pigs too. Wait, these are mini pigs.
These are tiny pigs. And then at the Common we have pigs and piglets.
Piglets. Oh, okay.
John actually painted one of the big pigs.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did.
There was like one with like triangle quilts or something.
That is the triangles ones. It's called Patches, and that is the one that John Sachs painted.
Okay.
Yes.
I just didn't remember what size because I was just looking at the pictures. I wasn't actually on the Common. Okay. But also with, were you still...
No, those were pretty much the goals we had with the project.
Because when I was reading and seeing some of the articles and seeing some of the headlines, a lot of the pigs were painted by high school students.
Yes, that was sort
of... So was that one of the original goals, or did it just kind of happen?
It was not one of the original goals, but it ended up being a wonderful byproduct.
I love happy accidents.
Yes, we were trying to find a way to help businesses who were investing so much in these pigs get the pigs designed and painted if they didn't have an artist that they already had a relationship with. So in order to help them with that, we did two things. We compiled a list of local artists that were interested in and willing to paint pigs. And then the high school students said, or the high school, George Ratkovich, who is the head of the art department, said that his kids could paint a couple of pigs. Started off thinking maybe 2 or 3 pigs, and they ended up painting, I think, 6 of the pigs.
Wow.
And they did a great job. But I think it was also a wonderful learning experience for them because they had to learn a little bit about the business. They had to get direction from the business as to what they were looking for. They did sketches and went back and forth and had to make tweaks based upon their clients' feedback and then paint the final product. So I think it was a really great learning experience for them. And then the kids were not paid, but the businesses who had the kids paint their pigs made a donation to a scholarship for art students.
Oh, cool.
Yes, so that was nice.
But, you know, in addition to, you know, the feedback, the client, you know, the artist working with the client, also just coming up with some of the concepts as well.
Yes, and they were very creative.
Because it's like, okay, how do you make a pig look like, you know, an insurance agency? You know, and it's like,
Right, it was, and each pig is so unique. None of them looks like the other.
And it was like, wasn't there like a Starry Night one?
There is it's called Sowie Night.
Sowie Night, of course.
And that is the Reamer and Bronstein pig.
Okay.
And I think they worked with the students. That was one of the pigs that students painted.
Okay.
And it looks great.
And there's like a like a blue one with poppies on it.
That one was not painted by the high school students. That pig was actually donated by an anonymous donor to the Council on Aging.
Okay. Like,
and the
Council on Aging had something to do with that.
Art class painted that pig, and you have to go see that one up close. I mean, all of them you should go see up close because they're all very unique and special. That one is wonderful. It's painted with flowers, but when you get up close, you can see there's butterflies, there's a ladybug in the pig's ear, there's little dragonflies. It's really wonderful.
Now, did they need like special paint, or was it just like regular paint and then like giant polyurethane bath or something? Or?
I think that's what it is. It's probably regular paint, but then a few layers of polyurethane.
And what happened? Did we mention? I know we were talking about this before, but I don't know if we mentioned it now. Where do the pigs go on September 1st?
On September 1st, the pigs will go to their forever homes with their sponsors. So the hope is that most of the sponsors who are Burlington-based businesses will install the pigs outside their businesses if possible.
Okay.
So then people can still enjoy them, and also we're sort of spreading art further out into the community.
I love it.
Yes, so that's the idea.
So since you're on the planning board, and I don't know if it was a planning board thing or another issue, just randomly putting pigs on, you know, in front of businesses, are there any special permits that are needed, or?
No, I mean, as long as the pigs are installed in garden beds or landscaping beds, they can't put them in a parking space because that wouldn't be allowed.
Okay.
They can't block a sidewalk or anything like that. We'll work with the businesses to make sure they're installed in a way that's not going to impede traffic or anything like that. But they don't need special permission, just like you wouldn't need permission to put a flamingo in your garden. You know, it's
well, I wasn't sure because I know, like, you know, sometimes signage and I don't.
Well, that's one of the things about the pigs. They could not be signs, and everyone understood that when they signed up. They each have a little sign on the platform that gives credit to the sponsor and the artist. Okay. But the pigs themselves could not be turned into
like a marketing
signs.
Tool.
Exactly. So the Reamer and Bronstein pig is beautiful. It looks like Starry Night, but it doesn't say Reamer and Bronstein on the side of the pig.
Got it. I love it. Okay, did you meet your fundraising goals?
Well, we're still sort of figuring that out because there were a lot of expenses related, and we've got to balance that. But I can confidently say we now have enough money to fund our 2024 installation, which was the main fundraising goal.
So you mentioned fundraising installation. So where does the Sculpture Park Committee do other fundraisers, or to rent or lease?
We lease the sculptures.
Okay, wasn't sure what the correct terminology
Generally, we lease the sculptures for 2 years.
Okay.
The artists get paid $2,500 for that 2-year period.
Okay, and that's like a set?
That's a set fee, and they know that when they apply.
Got it.
We run what's called a call to artists through NISA.
Okay.
We get entries in, and we have a process that we follow. We get the entries, the Sculpture Park Committee looks at them and does a quick pass, and we eliminate things just for safety reasons. If there's something sharp and pointy that someone could get hurt on or something like that, then we take them and we hand them over to the school. And the high school students and generally the elementary school students take a look at them, and they evaluate them and vote on them, and they give back to the committee their top choices.
Oh, okay.
Then we take the top 10 choices from the school kids, and we select from those top 10. we can't take them all because we don't have enough money for all of them or
And
room.
right now we don't have enough space.
And we try to make sure that, you know, not everything is the same color or the same height. We try to get some variety of materials. So we select from their top 10.
Okay.
And that's how we select each installation.
Now you mentioned high school and elementary schools. Do their votes generally line up?
Interestingly, they oftentimes do. They do it very differently. The high school students, as part of their art class, have to look at them and evaluate them, and they discuss them, and they have to give their reasoning of what they like and why. The elementary school students are given stickers, and they put stickers on the ones they like, and that's how we determine what they like.
Well, I wasn't even sure if you ever did the comparison, or if you're just like...
We have noticed that there is a lot of similarity between what they choose.
Okay.
Yeah, and often they choose the same ones I like too.
Well, then there must be good ones.
Yeah, I think we all, as a community, we want things that are bright and colorful and engaging. Some of the things that we've made very clear, even to the artists before they submit, we don't want anything controversial, we don't want anything political, because it's all supposed to be fun and family friendly, and we want it to be a positive experience for everyone.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So how was the process this time around? You sent out your... Is it really an RFP, or is it something else?
They call it a call to artists.
Call to artists.
And then the artists respond. I think we had around maybe 35 entries, something like that, which is a little less than we received the last time, but very high quality entries. We were really happy with them.
Because I'm thinking, how popular are these giant sculptures?
I don't really know the answer to that question. I imagine if you're an artist and you have a studio, you have to place your art somewhere, first of all, just to get attention and to make a little money, but also probably to make room in your studio so you can make other things.
I just, I'm gonna be a sculptor and put, a sculptor and make this ginormous thing. Just wouldn't think there'd be a good market for that. I think that's what
a lot of the sculptors that we've worked with in the past, they have their pieces displayed in lots of other places as well, in different towns and different states.
Like Havoc the dog, there's like a bunch of those. Somebody saw one in South Carolina. I think there's one like up in Amesbury or something.
Yes, that particular artist, he makes lots of dogs and they're all over the place. He makes other things too. He actually is the artist who made the sculpture that's currently in the park, that's the heart with the cardinals on it.
Oh, okay.
That was done by the same artist. That was commissioned by a resident in town, Maureen Wall, in honor of her parents.
I do remember Maureen's side of the story. I didn't realize that.
Yes. So Dale Rogers was the artist who created the dog. He also created lovebirds.
Now, did he submit something for this time around?
He did not this time. Yes.
Okay. So when are the new sculptures?
The new sculptures will be arriving throughout the month of July.
Okay.
Right now, what people will notice when they drive by the park is that some sculptures are missing, and we have empty concrete pads.
Yeah, but the pigs are there.
The pigs are there to distract everyone from the empty pads.
Worked for me.
Tomorrow, the last sculpture from our 2022 installation that is leaving will go away.
Okay.
And then starting after, I think after July 4th probably, we'll be bringing in new sculptures.
And how do you get them here?
The artists deliver them.
Okay.
And most of the time, the sculptures are things that can be installed by the artist with some help from people on the committee. John does a lot of that.
Okay.
There are occasionally sculptures that we require help from DPW on. So tomorrow, the sculpture that's called Pod, which is granite at the very front entrance of the park.
Yeah, it's not very big.
It's not very big, but it's very heavy.
Yeah.
So tomorrow the DPW is coming by to help remove Pod, and they will place it on the truck for the artist. And how he gets it off his truck when he gets home, I do not know.
Don't need to know that.
That's right.
Out of here. But I'm thinking like Seraph that we were talking about earlier. That one's permanent. That one's staying here because the artist donated it?
Yes, he
Was
did.
that the story? Okay.
That's right, yes.
But that's like ginormous. You know,
It
how
is.
do it won't fit it in a U-Haul, does it?
That came
come
on
apart?
sort of they brought it on like a flatbed thing, and but it's not particularly heavy. It's made out of plexiglass mostly.
Yeah, okay.
It's not very heavy. I think it was carried by 2 or 3 men, and it was placed there and bolted down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, the weight thing isn't bad, but I'm thinking, you know, you can't just throw it in the back of a pickup truck.
No, you can't.
And like the big metal stick person.
Same thing.
That's like huge.
Yeah. That artist has a whole series of dancers.
Really?
And they're installed in various towns and cities all around. And I've seen a lot of his work, and he has dancers in all different positions. He has families of dancers. He has series of dancers. It's really fun.
Now, we were mentioning that, you know, some are permanently owned by the town now. What is the decision-making process to determine which ones we do want to raise, the collective want to raise money for and keep versus, well, that's really cool, but bye-bye?
Interestingly, we don't really have a specific process for that because each one was handled differently.
Oh, okay.
So Havoc the dog was donated by the artist to the town. So that made the decision very easy.
Yes, it did.
Seraph was also donated.
Okay.
Lovebirds was donated by Maureen Wall.
Okay.
The cherries,
which I know happened like right at the beginning of the Ukrainian invasion, and
so
the artist was Ukrainian, so.
Right, so we raised money through the community
Okay.
to purchase the cherries. The Follow Your Heart, which is the red sculpture that's on the common near
And that
Havoc.
one broke, but now it's back.
That's right.
Yay!
That's the
We won't
only
talk about
one that we actually bought as a committee. And we did that when we went to town meeting and sought funding for the park. And that was understood that part of the funding was to buy Follow Your Heart. And the reason we selected Follow Your Heart was part of our outreach to the community. We hold events at the park, as you know. Most of them are very family-friendly events. And many times we will ask people to fill out a little form, you know, which is your favorite? Which one should we buy? And Follow Your Heart topped the list. And so we looked into it, and we were able to purchase it through the generosity of town meeting. We were able to get those funds, and we purchased it. The next sculpture that we're probably going to purchase, also through the same process of asking people which they love. And it's also a function of how much each sculpture costs. Some things we can't afford.
So the lease fee is the standard.
Right.
But the purchase fee can be anywhere.
Right. And when we select the sculptures, we know we're going to pay $2,500, and then it's very clear what it would cost if you want to purchase it.
Okay.
And the next one that we're probably going to purchase is Lumen, which is the dragonfly. The artist has allowed us to keep Lumen for another 6 months while we raise the funds for her.
Cool.
Yes.
And I'm still kind of disappointed that, no, I'm not independently wealthy, but my favorite from the first time around is gone. It was
which one?
It reminded me of a Viking ship.
Oh, yes,
It
Endeavor.
was like the two things. Yeah, and it had like the rebar and.
Endeavor was by the
one.
artist Chris Plaisted, who actually was also the artist for Composition 1, which was the piece. Now it's gone, but it was the red and white one that kind of looked like a net.
Yeah.
That's the same artist that did Endeavor.
Okay, because that was my other favorite one.
Oh, really? So you're a fan of Chris Plaisted?
Apparently. I just don't, read the things. I'm just like, oh, that's pretty. So the new sculptures are coming. How many are coming?
Well, we selected 5 sculptures.
Okay.
Since then, one of the sculptors,
It's hard to differentiate when you're talking.
Injured his shoulder and has to have shoulder surgery and cannot bring the sculpture here. So the committee has to make a decision we're actually going to be meeting about that tomorrow. We have to decide if we should move forward with the other 4 or if we want to go back to the original selections and choose another one. So I don't know yet if we're going to have 5 new sculptures or 4.
So the contract hasn't been signed yet?
Well, we haven't paid him, and he's not able to deliver it, so...
Okay, so yeah, okay.
We don't pay them until they actually come.
Show up. Good business. Yeah. Right now, the Sculpture Park is between the police station, or am I getting it the wrong way? Police station and Grandview Farm.
That's right.
It's been a lot of buzz around town.
Yes.
That the police station is, I don't want to say getting a facelift, it's getting redone.
It's getting completely redone.
So there had been some talk about the new police station going where the Sculpture Park is.
It's not exactly going where the Sculpture Park is, but it's going to encroach upon part of that land, probably. We don't know yet how much of it. It's possible it might be a very small amount. But even if the Sculpture Park land will remain available to the Sculpture Park in the future, the sculptures will have to be moved during construction.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want them in there.
So they may be removed during construction and placed elsewhere on a temporary basis and then perhaps go back, or they may be given a permanent new home. That has not yet been decided, and it will be decided mainly by the Select Board. The Sculpture Park Committee will work with the Select Board, but because it's all town property, that is the final decision of the Select Board as to where they will go.
Because I'm wondering, like, timelines, is it worth installing the new sculptures? Is the construction going to start within the next 2 years, and are we going to have to remove it twice? And
my
shows how much I've been
understanding,
paying attention to town politics.
My understanding is that the construction will start within the next 2 years, and we will move these existing sculptures before that. But it's not very difficult to move the sculptures themselves. It's difficult, perhaps, to move the concrete bases. But that will have to happen anyway. Yes, they were made with metal handles on them so they can be pulled up, not by a person, by a machine.
Well, no, but you know, I'm just thinking concrete is usually like the only way to get it out is with a jackhammer.
They can be removed. It wouldn't surprise me if there 1 or 2 were damaged during moving. We'll see what happens. But the sculptures are not that difficult to move. The hardest thing that's to move from the Sculpture Park is going to be the sculptural benches.
I was just thinking that.
They were constructed on site. Those are very large boulders with big pieces of granite. So we reached out to the artist who created them. He is located in Western Mass. And we're going to have to work with him to figure out how they can be moved. He does think it's possible. We will definitely need some help, probably from DPW, to do that. But we have not yet figured out how that will go.
There are 3 benches. I think there's 3. There's like one in the back, and then would all 3 of them need to be moved? Or the one closest to Grandview Farm might?
I think it's possible the one closest to Grandview Farm could stay where it is. I think the other 2 would have to move because they would be too close to the construction.
That's what I'm thinking. What am I forgetting?
I don't think you've forgotten much at all.
Did we forget anything about like the whole police station or?
I mean, the police station is, you know, this sort of not part of the Sculpture Park, but I'm personally very happy that they're going to get a new police station.
Absolutely.
It's an enormous
it's definitely
need. And I think that although it probably will encroach upon some of the Sculpture Park land, I don't think it's a problem. The Sculpture Park Committee is happy to move the sculptures out of the way. One of the areas that was discussed as a possible location for the sculptures would be the outskirts of the common. One of the reasons we thought it was a great idea to do the pigs on the common was to test out that concept and see how it works. And so we're in the process of doing that. There were other ideas as well that were floated. Some people have suggested that we create a sculpture walk that sort of goes from the Human Services building and all the way down to the fire station on the side of the street opposite the common, so in front of a lot of the municipal buildings.
Oh, okay.
So that's also under consideration. But again, it's going to be up to the select board.
And like a long time ago, when this was, the whole sculpture park was still a dream of John's,
Yes.
he was also saying that the idea of along Cambridge Street on the Simons Park side might be an option, and I don't know if that's still
I think
floating around.
we're open to all these ideas, but we'll see what happens once we meet with the select board and we consider all the different options.
What other types of, okay, you have the pigs on parade.
Yes,
Did they actually like parade, or were they just like unveiled?
they were just unveiled because they're too heavy to move around.
Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if they were like on a flatbed.
Oh, no.
Kind of like the 4th of July parade. Oh, you did say you were going to be in the
Yes.
4th of July parade.
We are. A
Tell me
couple of
about
the, we haven't decided which ones, but a couple of the pigs are going to be removed from the common and placed on a flat trailer thing that gets pulled by a car, and they will go through the parade, and we are going to have little tiny pigs at the parade
Okay, I
for
can
children.
just hear it now all along the parade route. You hear the squeaky, squeaky, squeakies.
So yeah, we will be in the parade. Probably two of the pigs, possibly 3, but I think 2 is for sure. And then they'll go back to the common at the end of the day.
I love it. What other types of fundraising initiatives has the Sculpture Park Committee done, or are you planning anything coming up?
We don't have anything else planned right now. I'm still sort of decompressing from the pigs on the parade.
Hey, I wonder why.
In the past, our fundraising has really been more just in conversations with area businesses who have
Okay.
donated. And we've had a number of businesses that have been repeat supporters of the park. Nordblom Company has been a supporter of the park from the very beginning. Reamer and Bronstein has been a big supporter. Brookline Bank has supported us more than once in the past. And Wegmans has actually been a great supporter in that they come to almost all of our events and bring free food.
I was about to say, didn't they do I brought my kids over, I think it may have been for the global warming dedication, was like ice cream? Or was
They
that
have
something
brought
different?
they brought ice cream for one of the events.
Remember, we had ice cream for breakfast once because
They
it's
gave
like,
us ice cream, they've given us cider donuts, they've given us cookies, they're wonderful. And they also got a pig. So they've been a wonderful supporter of the park as well. Yes.
maybe not fundraisers, but we were talking, just now talking about different events. Like
Yes.
you meaning the sculpture committee, Sculpture Park Committee, has done like pumpkin decorating in the
Yes.
fall and,
Yes.
obviously ice cream in the summer. What are some of the other events that you've hosted, and what events might you want to host?
We have done the pumpkin painting for 2 years in a row now. That's been a huge success. We've hosted the Red Trouser Show a couple of times, which was really fun and
Oh my
very
gosh.
well attended. That was
Okay.
great fun. We've had balloon
Balloon sculptures. Okay. Well, of course, they're sculptures.
all face painting. What we have coming up, we're doing something for the first time in August that I'm very excited about. We are partnering with the IAB, the Indian Americans of Burlington, to do an exhibit of Indian art. So
cool.
I'm working together with IAB, and I'll be announcing that soon. And I don't know how many artists will be attending, but I'm very excited for that. I think it's going to be really fun. We probably will have an event at the end of the summer, sort of a goodbye party for the pigs. We'll see how that goes. And I suspect we'll probably do pumpkin painting again in October because that's been such a great draw. People really enjoy that.
Love it. Any tie-in with Celebrate Burlington?
Well, the pigs will be in place during
Okay.
Celebrate Burlington. I don't think we're going to do anything else because it's very busy on the Common that day.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so much going on. And actually, funny story, the first year after the sculptures were installed, we thought during Celebrate Burlington, we thought, well, you know, we'll have something at the sculpture park, and there's this huge crowd right across the street, they'll all come over. And then they set up the pony ride right on that side of the common. Nobody crosses the pony line.
Oh.
Nobody came over to the park. We sat there all by ourselves. So we decided we should just let Celebrate Burlington do its thing. Everybody loves it just the way it is, and we keep our paws off of that.
Don't Happy Fun Ball. What are some of the other exciting, what was your favorite event so far in the entire history of the Sculpture Park?
I would have to say the Pigs on Parade event last Saturday. And the reason for that is because I just loved seeing the excitement of the children as we unveiled each pig. They were screaming and squealing with delight. They all wanted to touch the pigs. I saw children kissing the pigs and hugging the pigs.
And the parents going, you don't know where that's been.
No, I think the parents were loving it too. And I actually was surprised at how excited the children were to see the art. So I think that's been my favorite.
Fun.
Yes.
Every 2 years, the Sculpture Park goes through the whole call out for the artists.
Yes.
What are your plans? Do you even have like a 2-year plan from now? Are you waiting to see what happens with, you know, the location, the police station, or something? What do you want to see in 2 years?
The location is a really big question. And I have my preferences, but I'm not sure that's going to matter. The most important thing to me is that I want to see the park continue to thrive and grow.
Okay.
There's so many places where we could put art in town, where it will engage and enhance different areas. I don't think we should limit ourselves to just one spot or even 2 spots. We can expand and we can grow and we can spread beautiful art out into the community. I don't know the last time you went to Salem, Massachusetts. Salem has a wonderful public art program, and everywhere you turn, there's something beautiful to look at. There's murals. There are murals on walls, and there are murals on the ground, and there are sculptures, and it's spread throughout the city, and it makes it really fun to just walk around and see it all.
Cool.
And it makes it a beautiful city. And I'd love to see more of that in Burlington. You've probably seen the mural that was painted downtown.
I haven't been up close to it, but
It's
I'm like,
great.
why did they like hide it down this tiny?
I think it's terrific, and that was done through a grant that our economic development director got, Melissa Tentopoulos. And I know she has some other things that she's working on in terms of art for the town. And I just think there's such a benefit to the town, to the people who live here, but also the businesses. Businesses want to be located in a place where their employees are happy, and their employees tell them that they want places with cultural amenities. They also want places, they want to work someplace where there are good restaurants and where there's shopping, but they also want things like cultural amenities, which we haven't had in the past. We have the restaurants, we have the shopping. Let's add the cultural component, and it makes Burlington an even more attractive place for businesses and for residents.
Cool. Now, I know this isn't on my cheat sheet, but you were just mentioning, you know, cultural. Okay, we have the sculptures, but do you ever see that developing into other art forms like music? Because again, John's probably going at home going, will she ever shut up about me? But at one point, he was also thinking that wouldn't it be cool if some of the sculptures were interactive? Like, you know, like Blue Man Group has the PVC pipe thing, and
we would love to have some interactive sculptures. We actually have requested that through our calls. We haven't received any entries that were interactive, but I, at some point in the future, I'm sure we'll be able to find them. I would love to see more art in Burlington in the form of murals. I'm told that the Recreation Department is working on something to get all of our electrical boxes painted, the ones that are on town property.
Cool, okay.
Which they did already over on the 3rd Ave property.
Okay.
Because, you know, they're just ugly gray
They're
boxes.
gray, yeah, or dark green.
And
or
you can
something.
turn them into art, and it's not even that expensive. It's just the artist's time and the paint. And I've heard that the Recreation Department is working on that initiative, which would be
Cool.
great. And I think there'll be other opportunities as well. I don't want to steal the thunder from, there are other programs that I know other entities in town are working on, and I don't think you can ever have too much art.
Cool. So what else? What am I forgetting? Install a sculpture, sculpture to meet, rental fees. So I'm like, that doesn't really play a role because it's a flat rate.
Yes, it is.
Have you gotten a lot of pushback from artists going, well, I'm not going to enter because that's, my art is better than that?
Well, I suppose if they felt that way, they wouldn't submit. So
True.
that
So it's like right on the application if you get
exactly.
selected.
They know before
okay.
they apply what the lease fee is,
Okay.
and then they put a price tag on the piece if they want to sell it. And that ranges a lot. The range is quite wide.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think the least expensive sculpture that we've hosted, the purchase price on it was $5,500, and the most expensive one was $80,000.
Yeah.
We did not buy that.
Yeah.
So it's a very wide range.
Okay.
And what's kind of interesting and really cool about the leasing process is it enables us to have sculptures for a couple of years that we probably would never be able to have if we were buying them. We wouldn't be able to afford them.
$80,000
Right.
sculpture.
So we can have these sculptures that we know we're not going to keep them, but they're beautiful and they're engaging and people enjoy them for 2 years. And some of them we can purchase through the process of, and we raise money for them, like we did either for the cherries or through the town, like we did for Follow Your Heart. But I think there's something nice about the leasing as well because it never gets stale. They're changing all the time.
Okay.
If we only purchased sculptures, they would never change. And
Right.
after a while, if you've seen
You
them,
get bored.
why would you keep going back to see the same thing over and over again? This
For
keeps
Wegmans
it
ice
fresh.
cream.
Right.
When the new sculptures are installed,
Yes.
like midsummer, are they all going to be done at once? Are they going to be spaced out? And will the sculpture park have like a grand reopening type thing? Come and see the new
Yes.
sculptures.
We haven't done that in the past. They will probably be installed in the first couple of weeks of July. Not all on the same day because it's a little difficult to coordinate and the
yeah.
artists aren't all available on the same day. So
Might get a little crowded too.
yes, throughout the first couple of weeks of July, probably I would imagine by July 20th, all the new sculptures will be in. And then we'll announce them. John does videos. We'll do a lot of social media around them. We'll probably invite BCAT out to come and see them. But I don't think we're going to have a grand unveiling at the sculpture park. But people will also be able to come see them when we have our event with IAB.
And when is that again?
That will be in early
Ballpark.
August.
Early August,
I have to, I'm not sure of the date.
No, I'm just wondering, is like September? Is it, yeah, oh.
Early
okay.
August, yes.
And we talked about criteria, rental fees. Okay, without revealing too many secrets, because I know you probably can't tell me what any of the new sculptures look like or what any of their names are, although sometimes those names really aren't very descriptive.
That's true.
Where are they coming from?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, most of them come from
Yes, I'm throwing
not
you on
very
the spot.
far away because it's the New England Sculpture Association that we work through.
Okay.
So all of the sculptures that we've had in the park, with the exception of the cherries, have come from New England-based artists.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like some come from like California or New Mexico.
It's possible,
or something, so,
but most of
okay.
the time not, because the artists are responsible for delivering them here. So it
Yeah.
would be rather expensive for $2,500 fee for you to bring your
Bring something
sculpture all the way
from,
over
you know,
from California.
California,
So
Washington
most of
State or
them
something.
are New England-based, and I believe the new sculptures are from New England-based artists as well.
Okay. Any repeat artists?
No, we were going to have a repeat artist, but he's the one who injured his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So I can tell you the names of some of the pieces. Again, they're probably not very descriptive, but there is one piece called Sunday Paper. It is our second sculpture from a female sculptor.
Oh,
because
okay.
most of the sculptures that we've had have been male sculptors. There's not a lot of female sculptors that do very large scale pieces.
Who was the other female one?
The other female one is Lumen, the dragonfly.
Okay.
So we have Sunday Paper. We have one called Dream Manifesting, which is my favorite of the new group. Well,
Ooh,
I have
okay.
2 favorites in the new group. I'm trying to remember, what were the other ones?
Now, there's no
remember the
way
names.
for, like, unless you're an elementary school student or a high school student, there's no way for you to see what some of the options are.
Well, the select board knows, because they have
But
to
there's only
approve
5
everything.
people on the board.
They have to approve everything. And actually, to be honest with you, people could see them because all of the Sculpture Park committee meetings are public meetings, so anyone can come.
I think I'm going to go back on BCAT's government channel. And
Oh, they're not televised, but anyone can come to the meetings, and if they want to, they can participate and give their opinions during our selection process. We have had a couple of members of the community come and attend,
Okay.
and they are welcome to do that anytime, but it's not televised, and we like to keep it a secret because I think it makes it fun for the community.
I know! Dying of suspense over here. What happens to the sculptures that we don't keep?
They go back to their sculptors, so they go back home.
Okay.
And many times these sculptures get placed elsewhere on lease periods.
So like another lease. Okay.
Yes, so for example, Ryby House, which was the sculpture that just recently left that looked like a little tree house.
Yeah.
That had been placed in other art exhibitions in other places in the past, and then we had it for 2 years, and in all likelihood it will go somewhere else after this.
Now, what was the story behind that? I want to...
The story behind Ryby
local
House.
too?
It was I think that artist was definitely in the New England area. I think he might have been from Connecticut.
Oh,
the story behind Ryby House was, though, that when the artist's children were little, they had a little fort behind the shed that they used to play with neighborhood children, and they called it Ryby House. And so he fashioned this and called it Ryby House after his children's fort.
Now, do all of the sculptures have like stories behind them like that?
Some of them do and some of them don't. Sometimes we ask the artists those things, you know, with Seraph, which is the really tall blue one.
Yeah, the blue and the stained glass that I...
Right.
When it first showed up, I was convinced it was real glass. And I'm like,
it looks like it. And it's really cool how it casts shadows on the ground, especially when there's snow on the ground and the sun comes out. It's really beautiful. And so many people look at it and everyone sees something different. I've had people say, it's a fish, it's a grasshopper, it's a bird. So when the artist came, I asked him, you know, what was your vision? Some people think it looks like a fish, some people looks like, he said, well, see the big blue ball at the top? And I said, yes. He said, I wanted to get that up really high so the sun would shine on it. So it's not a fish or a grasshopper or a bird, but it can be whatever you want it to be.
You know, when you first started saying that, you know, I wasn't thinking about the blue ball on top, but I was thinking, oh yeah, those are all the scrap pieces that I didn't know what to do with. So, yeah, I'm just wondering how they determine the materials and.
Sometimes they do have stories behind them. One of the first sculptures that we had in the first installation, I don't know if you remembered, it was black steel, very tall and slender.
They reminded me of burnt French fries for some reason.
Oh, well, according to the artist, when he created this, he was thinking about his experience on a subway in Japan where people were packed in really close. And he said he felt like everyone was packed in close and yet leaning back a little bit to keep their own personal space. And that's kind of the shape of the sculpture, which was really interesting. I can't remember the name of that one.
And there was also the concentric glow-in-the-dark circles.
Yes, That one was pretty cool.
That one was cool.
And that was based on some, it was an art concept that he told us about that I was not familiar with.
Another random question that, again, didn't make my cheat sheet, so hopefully it won't, throw you under a bus.
Okay.
But there was a landscaper who donated the lighting.
Yes.
So, but when the sculptures change and are replaced, does the lighting need to be changed or just readjusted, or?
The landscape lighting was done by Navola Landscape Lighting Company. They donated that, which we're very grateful for. And as long as the pads remain in the same place, the lighting doesn't have to be adjusted much. When they move, of course, they will have to. But I don't know whether or not we would put lighting in if they're on the common. I don't know if that would be allowed, and I don't know.
Well, there's also plenty of light on there.
That's
but
true.
I'm just, I'm thinking like spotlights. If you have serif on a spot, and then I know it's not, but let's say it goes away, and then you get one like the little pod thing, and it's only like 2 feet tall.
Yes. Well, the lights are pretty small, so you'll notice the light does not really illuminate serif all the way to the top. And that's purposeful because we really don't want to annoy neighbors with bright lights that shine in their windows at night. It has to be very subtle because there are neighbors that live pretty close. How has security been in general with all the sculptures? Actually, it's been great. We really haven't had any problems with vandalism. It's beautiful. A lot of people worried about that when we first started. They were very worried that there'd be vandalism in the park. Maybe it's because it's right next to the police station that we haven't had any problems. And maybe it's just because people enjoy it and they don't want to destroy it. But we've been very, very lucky. We did have one sculpture that was damaged. We have no idea how that happened, but according to the artist, it may actually have been caused by the extreme cold. And so the
What's that made out of?
It had a foam core. So when he fixed it, he put in a lot more steel inside, so it's much stronger now than it was before. We don't know what happened to it. Did a tree branch hit it? Did somebody hit it? Was it just the cold? We don't know, but we have no reason to think it was vandalism because nothing else has ever been vandalized. True. What am I forgetting? I just had another thought and it totally disappeared on me. What am I missing? Oh, how would someone get involved? Is there an opportunity? Absolutely. To get involved in the sculpture park? We would love more people to get involved in the sculpture park. And there's a few ways. You can reach out to me, you can reach out to John Sachs, you can come to our meetings. All of our meetings are public meetings. They're posted on the town website. We have one tomorrow morning at 8:30 if anybody wants to come. It's on WebEx. Oh, like 8:30 in the morning? 8:30 in the morning because we have to get people before they start their workday. We were very lucky actually with the Pigs on Parade project because we did have a number of people step up to help, which was wonderful. We had Will Seagard, thank you, Will. He came with his truck and helped us transport pigs all around town where they needed to go, which was great. Roger Riggs came and helped us with installation, and two boys from the high school that are in marching band, Jerry Go and Ryan, I forget his last name, Ryan Busalem maybe? Yes, that's what it is, came and they helped with installation in what was really oppressive heat last week. Oh my gosh, yes. It was terrible. And they really were great helping install the platforms and then install the pigs to the platforms. And it was wonderful to have the help because, you know, John and I do our best, but I'm not all that good at hauling those big pigs around. Oh my gosh. How much does a pig weigh? Like, the big pigs weigh, I think, about 60 or 70 pounds. Oh, that's it? Yeah, they're hollow. Oh, okay. The little pigs are only 15 pounds, so I could carry those. Okay. All right. So, you know what? We're out of time. Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
thank you so much. I want to like go over to the common now, although it's probably a little too dark. But I'm really looking forward to the unveiling.
Good.
Checking out some of the pigs up close. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I also want to thank everyone at home for tuning in this evening. I hope you are as excited about bringing more culture to Burlington, bringing more art, more local art, and just a lot of fun. So thank you for joining, and I will see you around town. Good night.